So this is actually my favorite view. And the reason is, it's not as fancy as the topology view, and I know Tom, they've put a lot of time into topology view, and it's phenomenal, but this is my favorite, but I'm a technical person. As you can see, and this is true, this was actually taken 3 days ago. The top person is a satellite user. So we have 2 satellite users actually. One person uses HughesNet, the other one I'm not sure what they use, but they should probably move. And we can quickly diagnose if we're having problems based on the client IP address, if it's internal, external, who's really struggling, who isn't, and if we see somebody who is abnormal. So we always know that those 2 users at the top are always at the top. But let's say the 3rd person down there with 250 milliseconds of latency, we watch her session for a little bit and we notice that her latency is not going down. We can call and reach out to her and say, hey, you're having some problems and you're at home right now. We know, how can we help you? And that's actually happened, that the person's machine was actually waiting with Windows updates, had her reboot, her latency went down and her experience was better. So it's having us being proactive to our users, and that is why this is my favorite view.
Now, early in our project, prior to Goliath, I would receive a telephone call and say that employee A was unhappy with their experience with their virtual desktop at home, and that would those kind of messages would permeate through the organization, and it was difficult to manage. So a lot of that we didn't know. We didn't have the visibility. We didn't know why. So this is an excellent example of how we see visibility. On the left side of your screen, you can see the virtual desktop instances. We've kind of purposely deleted the name to protect those employees, but we can see visibility for each of the employees. We know when an employee is really outside of our policy. In our policy, as folks work from home, they really need strong broadband type connections. Satellite usage is really outside of that. That's not in our portfolio of internet that we support. But we do have sometimes employees that are pushing the envelope and working these whether they're coming in DSL or satellite, but we can pick that out. We have visibility, and then we can have a dialogue with them to help them get back into our policy. So prior to that, it was very difficult to manage. So this is a fantastic illustration of how we use the tool real time.
The next slide shows another great feature from Goliath is the connection speed. So what's nice about this is that you can tell what the user's connection speed is at home, not just based on network latency or WAN latency or ICA latency. You're looking at the connection speed based between the virtual delivery agent and the Citrix client, and you can tell from a user if they're really struggling. So this is probably from my favorite view. When you go into a session, this is the first screen we look at, and it really is to look at the connection speed. What's the user feeling? Is it really jumpy? Is it stagnant? Is it pretty solid? Is it really low? Are they running DSL and just really struggling? So when we talked about the phone, this is actually a screenshot from that I sent to the user. She was having some problems with the phone. Her phone dropped. The communications kind of stuttered and came back. And we had a conversation with her, like, well, what happened? Actually, something happened because you weren't in the building, like at the house. So here came to that their kids were playing video games, which was actually causing drops in connection speed and creating high network latency. So we've used Goliath and actually shared this data with our users with a conversation. And we've been able to create conversations that we never were able to before, which has been invaluable to us. And it's not just a point of time. That's, directors great tool for everything that it is, but it cannot give us the data that Goliath was able to through the entire session. And historical, and we keep 30 days worth of data. So I can actually look at every session for a user 30 days back. Look at their connection speed, what trouble they're having. So when a user contacts us and says, man, last Tuesday it was just really bad, we can actually go back to last Tuesday and compare it to the day that they're saying it's really good. And we can see that data, and having data to be able to create the conversation has been just great for us.